Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this is Skaggly Bones, back with another video for you. Now, I know it's been about a month since my last video. I've been kind of busy recently, last couple of months, with hunting season and all here in Virginia, and also getting ready to do some moving as well in the next 6 months. So I was thinking, hey, before Season 2 of Diablo Reaper of Souls starts up, and I have been playing the new patch, so you will see some new content there. I was just thinking how nice it would be to kind of give you a little glimpse of what I'm doing now and maybe do a little bit of how-to video. Since I said in my first video I was going to do some how-to stuff. So today we're going to take an outdoor walk and kind of do an outdoor how-to video for you today on hunting prep and what I do at the end of hunting season as well. So let's switch here, and we're going to take a look at some gear. So whenever hunting season starts, I pull out these 2 packs. These are 2 packs that I use for my hunting season. They're both Gregory packs. They are standard issue with Navy and Marines. When I was in the Navy Reserves, before I went active duty, I drilled with Marines at my reserve center, and so I still have a lot of extra gear that I use when I was drilling with the Marines. So these are the 2 frame packs that are commonly used by the Marines, and you'll see the SEALs use these 2 types of packs as well. They have upgraded kind of to more modern frame packs, but these are still quite useful. So as you can see here, the large pack on the right hand side, it is right now it's kind of empty. I have a little bit of gear in it, but it's quite a large frame pack, and altogether this will weigh probably about 80 pounds by the time I have it fully packed out. It has a number of pockets on the side, as you can see, and it is modular based so that you can strap on different extra bags and packs that so if you needed to ditch this, you could still continue to carry other equipment. So normally I keep this kind of as almost a bug out bag type of thing, and I'll put emergency extra clothes in here. I will keep a sleeping bag and a tent and things like that in the bottom part down here. Right now I just have some extra force protection gear that I use while I'm in the Navy. For right now, but I am able to carry quite a bit of gear in there in this pack. This smaller frame pack is part of the same pack, and it actually attaches onto the back of this frame pack here, right into this spot as well. Now you can also keep it separately. As you can see, it's got its own extra attachment unit, and it is a frame pack as well. This is hard. It's got a lumbar support, and it's an internal frame pack. Just so you know, you don't actually see the external frame. This is what replaced the World War II and Vietnam frame packs that were so commonly used back in the 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. As you can see, I have a. So what I typically use on my one-day hunting, every time I go out for one day, all day on Saturdays and during the week, is this pack right here. I don't take out the large pack. It just takes up too much room, and it's too heavy. But with this pack, I can put inside of here. I can put my hunting blind. I can put a number of different things. In fact, I can keep an extra change of underwear, some extra socks. I won't carry boots or anything like that, but I'm going to show you some of the other gear that I do take with me when I go on my hunts. So as you can see here on the back, I have a basic SOG knife, just pretty basic Special Forces SOG knife. As you can see there, nothing fancy, but it is quite sharp, and it is great for field dressing large animals and cutting through some bone. But I don't use that one for chopping. It's probably break it if you used it for chopping. features and stuff. You can see on top I have a flashlight. I always keep this attached to the top of the pack. I don't keep it in a sheath or on my belt. The reason being is when I have this pack on, you guys will see a little bit later, I can always have it because at the ready, because when I come out in the mornings it is always dark, and the last thing you want to do is trip and fall. So having a nice small LED flashlight that is attached to your shoulder is very convenient, so that you can click it on and kind of have it sitting on your shoulder, kind of ready. And anytime you need to see anything or access anything from your pack, you can do that with this type of flashlight. Some people go with Surefires. There's all kinds of grade A military flashlights that are out there, or force protection flashlights. And this one, I think this one was about $70, $80. But it's real high quality. The batteries last for a very long time. And I also keep extra batteries in my pack as well, for my flashlight and for other types of things that I may be using at the time. So as we come over to the front of the pack, you'll see I have another knife, and a lot of people are like, well, why do you have multiple knives? Why do you have two knives? Well, actually, I carry 3 regular size knives, as I call them. That the SOG is quite large. It's an 8-inch blade, 8 or 9-inch blade, I forget. But I do carry multiple knives. I even carry a smaller Benchmade knife that I keep inside my pack, and I use that for actually skinning the deer, because it is extremely sharp. It's razor sharp, and I could use it to shave with. This is a Gerber Bear Grylls. Now, the interesting thing about this knife is it's a direct copy of the knife the Army and Air Force use for their pilots, kind of as a survival knife. And I do like this knife because it is fairly cheap, and it's got a few nice little survival elements on it. So I keep this attached to the front strap, the chest strap, and I keep that there for quick and easy access if I have to cut through anything. This isn't, I wouldn't use this as a combat knife, but as you'll see here, I'll show you as I pull this blade out. Okay, there we go. As you can see, it's not that long of a blade, about 5-inch blade, but it's got a nice it's a nice full tang blade, nice rubber grip handle, and at the end it's actually got a metal butt cap. The nice thing about that metal butt cap is you can use it for hammering. So that's really why I keep this knife. That way I don't have to keep a hammer or anything like that if I'm out in the woods and I need to stake down something, whether it be for sleeping overnight or for survival. This is a great knife to do it. It's also a pretty heavy blade. You can see there's some serrations there, kind of, but it's a really nice, if you look at the blade there, it's really thick. Now, I don't know if you can see right on the back there, you see the discoloration in the blade. That is actually for, I'm going to put the blade down now real quick. If you see on here, let's see if I can get focus in frame. Okay, this piece right here, this pops out. Oh, and I flung it over to the ground. Let's see here, pick it up. This piece right here is for starting fires. So it'll actually work as a flint. You use it on the back of that blade. You can actually start fires with that. So put that back. And then on the back, I'm not going to actually take it apart, but if you see there in the back, in between the sheath and the actual, this plastic piece here that holds the blade, there's actually a sharpening stone. It's actually more of a file, but it's for sharpening your blade. And I like this because I can kind of disattach this right here, flip this out at any time without taking the sheath off, and I can sharpen all my blades with this. And on the back, of course, you have Bear Grylls. Everybody's seen his show, but you do have some emergency symbols and signals that you can use if you need rescue. Like I said, I didn't buy this knife because it was a Bear Grylls. I just bought it because of the price. It was considerably cheaper. This knife was about $39, whereas the actual survival knife, the official survival knife that Gerber made for the military, was running about $80 to $90. So I was like, it's the same exact knife, with the same exact features, and if you're going to pay less for a Bear Grylls' name on it, that's the only downside you get, is you get a guy who acts like he can survive in the woods by other people's stuff, then so be it. I'm not knocking Bear Grylls himself, but You know what I mean. Everybody's in the military knows that he's not the survival expert. It's his guys that take him out there. So that's that knife. Okay. And then, as you see on the back, you actually have an emergency whistle as well, right there. So that's actually a nice feature that isn't on the regular survival knife. Not the fact that you may need a whistle, but I guess if you were injured and you were laying down on the ground and you were held up somewhere and you had a emergency rescue people came for you, you could whistle to tell where you were at. Okay, so that's that knife. Now, attached to this, normally I'll keep this piece right here is just a bow sling, which I use to stick my bow in it, so as I'm walking through the woods I get a little bit better handle on my bow and I don't drop my bow. That's pretty much it for the outside of the pack. Now, on the inside of the pack, now I've taken some few things out. Typically I will keep wet wipes in here. I took the wet wipes out because it's so cold the wet wipes are freezing. I do not have wet wipes with me because of what I'm doing. I'm not going to be out all day. I'll only be out for about an hour or so to pick up some equipment that I have set up in the woods that I use all year for hunting season, like my blind and stuff. So I don't really need wet wipes, but I always keep wet wipes with me in case I have to go to the bathroom. The last thing you need to do is be taking a shit in the woods and need to wipe because you don't want to be using underwear to be wiping with. So using some wet wipes, even though it's uncomfortable at first because they are wet and you will probably be cold and they will be cold, it's a lot better than trying to use toilet paper. Plus the wet wipes will cover up a little bit of the scent and then you can later on bury them. I do have a blade I use just for burying stuff. So once I take my shit in the woods and I wipe myself off and keep myself clean so I don't get rashes as I'm sitting out in the woods, because the last thing you want to do is rash up while you're in the woods and be chafing all day. I bury it because the last thing you need is deers walking up behind, or actually not coming near your blind or your stand for that matter, because you just taken a giant human poo in the woods. Okay, so as I go in the first pouch here, there's actually two main areas to this bag. It's kind of tough to open with one hand. Let's see here. I'm going to switch hands, folks. Sorry about that. Now, right now, I have extra shotgun shells inside my bag. I don't have a gun with me. I happen to have a lot of extra rounds that I had from hunting season. I just haven't taken them out. I have in here some extra gloves right now. More for warm weather. Some combat type gloves. And let's see here. I have stuff for bow hunting in here. I just keep a number of stuff in here now. Mostly in here is rounds. I do keep some rope if I have to drag out a deer, or if I'm in a tree stand I gotta pull this gear up, especially this pack. I will not let this pack ever sitting on the ground because I'll keep food and stuff in it. And I got my water, and you always want to stay hydrated as you're hunting. So the last thing you need is not to have some good rope. So this is some good rope, and you can get this normally at Walmart for maybe $5 with a hook on it as well. Small little carabiner. Not that the carabiner is that strong, but for lifting up a 5-pound pack or a 10-pound pack, that little carabiner is nice. And if you have to, you just tie the rope off to the top of the, kind of right here on top of the bag. So always carry that stuff in there. Of course, I got my pipe. Always gotta have a nice pipe with you. Some people, not really a smoker, but gotta have a pipe. Everybody's gotta have a pipe. Okay, and then as we go into the next, now I'll also carry some other stuff, but like I said, the most thing I'm going over right now is the utility tools. I will keep extra socks and things in here as well, some food, granola, things like that. Now this main section, this is the second, this is actually the second pouch area, okay? This doesn't have any smaller pouch areas on it. It's just 2 big compartments. So you have the main compartment and the secondary compartment. This is the secondary compartment over here I just showed you. And it's quite large. It's even got some things for your keys to hook your keys on. See it right there? And it's got some straps in here to hold. Always keep for my lighter fluid and stuff, for my for my pipe and stuff. And also, if you have to burn off any serving on your bow or something, you have to work on your bow. I have that separate, in a separate container. My kind of my little bow pack that I strap onto here. It goes onto the back of here and it straps onto here. I have another knife, and this is kind of the knife I was talking about for digging. I got this at Walmart. It's kind of a cheapie, like 30 bucks maybe. Let's see here. Okay, there it is. So the thing I like about this is it's got kind of a soft handle to it, soft feel handle to it. It's got a decent sized blade, kind of like a small machete. It's kind of not pointed at the tip, so you're not going to stab yourself with it. It does have this little hook, which is nice for grabbing onto some branches and just yanking them out of the way. If you got some small branches in your way and you got a lot of gear on you. And then it's got a little bit of serrations, which is more than a typical. Most machetes won't have serrations on there. And so this is nice if you got to saw through some stuff. And it's a pretty heavy blade, as you can see there. It's pretty thick. It's a little heavier than most machetes. And it will chop through some decent amount of wood, some small branches, small little trees and stuff. So I'll use this as well. Plus, it's good for digging because of that type of spade point that it's got on it. But I never put this on my side. I kind of always keep it in the backpack, back in here. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull out. This is the last knife that I keep, and this is the Benchmade that I keep, and this is a razor sharp knife. This was about $100 by itself. These can sometimes run, and that was with my military discount at a Bass Pro Shop as well. These can run upwards of $150. This is the Bone Collector model. And as I'll show you, it's quite a small blade. As you can see there, see? It's not very big. There it is. The palm of my hand, right? There's the Benchmade symbol there. But it is razor sharp. I have shaved my head with this thing to test it. And most blades you can shave the first time when you first buy them, off the first sharpening. But this thing, even though it's not that thick, not that heavy, it's a solid tang blade. As you can see, there's the metal all going all the way through the blade. It's kind of a wood grip, kind of an unusual kind of color into it. Like I said, it's a Bone Collector blade, but it is nice. Now that back stuff on the back isn't serrations. I don't really know what that point of that is for, those little bumps. This thing is razor sharp, and this will skin a deer faster than anything, and I love this blade just for that. Or if I got to cut other stuff open. It's great for if I have to cut some paper, just any little things where I need almost like a razor blade. And this comes with a nice sheath too. And I normally keep on my person. That's the one I keep to my belt most of the time. I think that's it for the bottom of that pack. Yeah, for that portion. Now this is divided up in 3 sections, like I said. The center section, right here, which has actually got some straps to it, some clips, that's where I have my Camelback, which is empty right now. I emptied it out because of the freezing cold. I don't want it to freeze up. Because normally this tube here will freeze up in the cold, even in my trunk in my car. So unfortunately it hasn't been too cold. Today is about really the first day that's been super cold. It's about 29-30 degrees right now, so it is a little bit cold here in Virginia, but that's what I keep in the center pack. And I keep that isolated because this is some padding here, and that's what technically, if you see this centerpiece, that's padding, and that's really what it's for. It's for putting the Camelback in there without the cover. Now I do have the cover on there. I do have the little backpack part on the Camelback because it doesn't take up much more space, but it is actually designed to put like a water bottle in there that comes out through this hole, so you can actually use this to drink out of. And that's the point of this section. This last little portion back here, right now I don't have anything back there, but normally that's where I put my change of socks and stuff like that. And the reason I put it there is it keeps it next to my body and it keeps those items warm. And then I'll also put my wipes in that section as well on top, because I want that near my back to keep me warm. Or not to keep me warm, to keep those items warm so they don't freeze. So that's the inside of my pack. Like I said, I do normally, when I'm hunting, I carry more things in here. I carry some tools for bow hunting. I carry extra broadheads, extra tips. I carry a small little bow press, a cable bow press that I do use from time to time. If something was to break on my bow while I was in the field, I could completely, totally fix it as well. I carry serving and some other items that are very helpful as a bow hunter, because mostly what I do all year round is bow hunt. Now, that is it for that. And we're going to pause this video because I'm going to put some stuff back in the car. I'm not going to take that. But right now I'm taking this pack with me because my blind that I have to get and some other items, I'm going to I attach this. I have it set up so that I can attach it to the back of the bag here. And it'll make it quite easier for me to haul it out of the woods, because I have to actually hike for about a mile. So we're going to pause this video and we're going to catch up to you as we start to get to our hunting site. One last thing I forgot to mention, actually there's two things, but I want to show everybody that this is what I use in my blind to sit on. Normally I'm not going to sit on the ground in my hunting blind, so this is the chair that I use. So it is a nice convenient fold-up chair. It has a nice little strap on it, and as well, what I really love about this chair is that underneath it, it has a pouch, and in the pouch is where I carry my harness for when I'm up in a tree stand, because during the day I'll switch between a tree stand and my blind depending on where the deer are coming from in the place that I hunt at. So it's very important that you always have a harness when you're in a tree stand, and this chair kind of makes it so I don't have to keep it in the pack. Makes it a little bit nicer for me. And then one last thing that I had on my person that I do keep in my bag, and on the same lines as the Bear Grylls knife. Let's see here if I can pull it out with one hand as well. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. There we go. I had to unsnap it. And that's the Gerber Bear Grylls Parang machete. They call it a survival machete, but it's a parang type blade, which means it curves back. And I had looked up where all the different, because there's multiple different types of machetes, depending on what type of the world they come from. There's machetes that are very specific to the Philippines, to the Caribbean, to the Pacific, different Pacific islands, to Mexico and things like that. So machete names are based on where they come from in the world. And this is a parang blade. And like I said, I will not even say where I think what part of the world it came from, because it's been a little bit since I have looked that information up, and I don't want to give you the wrong information. But that information is very easy to find, and you can just kind of Google that. But the blade does curve back. It's not a super thick blade, but this machete is not a bad price. It has a nice rubberized handle the same way as that Bear Grylls knife has, and it's quite a decent sized blade. But this is very good for chopping. As you can see, there's quite a bit of dirt on the blade, and it is yet to dull. I have not even chipped the blade, so I've had to actually chop some stuff into the dirt. So I've not dulled the blade yet. It's very easy. It's got kind of a very wide, I should say, cutting area, and then where the actual very tip of the blade is actually quite sharp for a machete. So this gives has some decent weight to it, and it works almost kind of like a hatchet. So it's a very good machete, and I really like how it works. You get a little bit more force out of it with that curved back blade. So this is what I normally keep on my person for when I have to cut out some brush that's in my way as I'm kind of hiking through the woods. Okay, this is it, folks. This is our first major waypoint. I've been hiking for almost a mile now back to this spot here. Normally, as you can see, there's a little bit of a pathway or a road. Normally I'll drive back in here if I'm hunting, so I won't hike this whole way, but it is gated off right now, so I kind of have to hike back here. And this little clearing, as you can see, this is kind of one of our bedding areas that we have in this spot. We have, where I hunt here is about, we have 5 food plots, 5 really nice large food plots, about 15 tree stands, and quite a bit number of things. So actually where we're going to is where one of the tree stands is located at. There's actually 2 in not too far proximity from each other, about 100 yards from each other, but we're going right past one of the tree stands that I have placed up in this area. And we got quite a little bit of a path to walk down the area. As you can see, I got some we got red tape that's up here, and the real reason for that, and I always recommend people doing that if you have a regular hunting area. If you're hunting in a public area or something, you can't really do this, but if you have some, not necessarily private property, but if you have some property you hunt on and you have quite a ways to go, I would recommend putting up white tape, kind of a luminescent tape. That way it's up ahead of time, the deer are used to it, and then as you go through the woods, first thing before dawn breaks and you're setting up, you can actually find your way and you don't get lost. So you may know the woods, you may know the area quite well. I could probably navigate through this area pretty easily. As you can see, there's some marks and stuff as we head through here. So it's not that difficult. Typically you can probably pretty well find your way. You know the area pretty well, and I do know this area quite well. I hunt here. I've been hunting here every year for the past 3 years, so I'm quite familiar with this whole area, and all the tree stands and all the food plots that we have up. But when you're at night, the last thing you want to do is lose your way. So having these little white tapes posted up everywhere, kind of down a path where you can kind of just shine your flashlight. You can see this is my flashlight I got attached to my shoulder. It's always there. Will really help. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about, because I'm just going to kind of film us on this last bit of trail as we go up to the blind to get that down, is kind of outerwear, things that you should wear when you are hunting, especially in the wintertime. Now in the summertime it's not so bad. You can kind of choose anything. A lot of people wear jeans, they'll have t-shirts on, and then once they get their hunting areas, they'll put on coveralls and other such things. As you saw in the first part of the video, I had a hunter orange cap on, and I always use that during gun season. Now during bow season, I will not have that on. And then when I'm in my blind, I might take this hat off. But where I'm at in Virginia, the state law is that you have 360 view of having hunter orange on. We got a little bit of swamp area down here, so I kind of go around some of this water. We used to have a tree stand that set up right in this area on that smaller tree right there, and it kind of overlooked this little swamp area. Well, we found out that the deer were actually back about another 50 yards, so they're actually coming up behind the tree stand, and you weren't being able to get good shots off at the deer. We found a bunch of scrapes and some rubs that indicated where the deer are actually coming through at. There are a number of lanes up and through these woods where the deer Deer's coming in. Okay. So, outerwear. Now, you kind of saw earlier as well, I am wearing, right there. That is definitely a rub. Or sorry, a scrape. Deer was either bedded down there. Now that's not recent. That'd be probably about a week ago, I'd say, because of the leaf fall and everything. Yep. There's some slight track marks in there. And right there as well. So deer scraping is where the deer will come in, they'll roll around, kind of like a dog pees on everything. They kind of mark their territory. Now sometimes deer are just scraping around in order to find acorns, because deer love to eat the acorns in the woods. This is some more fresh stuff because you can see there's only one leaf on that little scrape. They're digging around for the acorns. That's what they're looking for. Also, sometimes they're looking for spots to bed down at. But these spots here, they're looking for acorns. They're not going to be bedding down in this area. It's not dense enough of an area. So, the big thing that I do, and there you go, as well. I'm going to kind of pause this video for a second. I don't have much time left on my recorder before it dies out. I want to show you where the blind is at. Well, this is it. I'm going to probably have to shoot the rest of this video on my phone. As you can see, my blind, it's a four-sided, and then it's got the little orange bits so people can see you when you're inside the blind. You can at least see the blind. So I'm going to take this blind down. I'm going to cut out of here, and then I will see you guys back home when I finish up this video. Okay, one last thing I want to show you on this part of the footage is this is about 20-30 yards down from where my blind was located at. This is one of our permanent tree stands. We kind of keep this up all year round. We got 15 of these. And just a basic tree stand. Okay, folks, I'll see you on the way down. So that's it for me today, folks. Skaggly Bones out. If you like this content, give me a heads up in the comment section below. And make sure you subscribe. That's all for me today. You guys have an awesome day. Bye.